Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be going into rows, positioning, and targeting. You'll notice that both sides of the board in Gwent are divided up into 3 rows. The front row with this sword icon is the melee row. The middle row with the crossbow icon is the ranged row. And the bottom row with the catapult icon is the siege row. Every single unit you play in Gwent has to be played to one of these 3 rows, and the row you can play a unit on is determined by the icon below its strength value. The icon matches up with the icon on the row itself, so that shows you which row it can be played on. You'll see Eskel here. Under his 5 strength, there's a sword icon, which means he can only be played to the melee row. This reinforced trebuchet has a catapult icon. That means it can only go on the siege row. And my Reaver Scout here has a crossbow icon. He can only go onto the ranged row. There are certain units that have this special double arrow icon in a circle. These are known as agile units. They can be played to any row you want. So let's start by playing Eskel on this top row. His ability is summoning the other witches from your deck.
As you command.
And now let's go into positioning. When I play a card, not only do I pick what row it goes onto, but I also pick where on that row I place it. You'll notice as I grab my Redanian Knight Elect here, I can put him on this bottom row, I can put him in the middle row, or I can place him on the melee row, and I choose which spot I put him on. I could put him at this end, I could put him at this end, or I could put him in between Eskel and Lambert here. Not all cards really matter where you put them, but this particular card gives buffs to the 2 adjacent units every turn. So it's much better for me to place him in the middle here than on the end, because I'll be getting a buff of +2 every turn if I put him in the middle, and if I were to put him on the end it would only be +1. So it's much better for me to position him between the 2 units I already have. Now some units and special cards require you to pick a target. There are different sorts of targeting mechanics in Gwent. Some cards just force you to pick a single target. For instance, my Reaver Scout here, I choose one other bronze card on my own side to target, and he'll summon a copy of that unit. Let's try that out. I play him, I have to put him on this row. Now I can target a bronze unit. My only bronze unit right now is that knight I played earlier. And now I summon a copy of him, and I choose where to position the copy. Again, it's smartest for me to put this guy in between 2 other units so that I get the most out of his buffs. So it'd be a good idea for me to put him here on the melee row between 2 other units I already have. Now there are certain cards that target multiple units or entire rows of units. You'll notice this card here I have in my hand, Lacerate, says damage all units on a row by 3. So were I to choose this card, I have to choose a row to play it on instead of picking any particular unit. It is able to target both sides of the board, but in general you won't want to be lacerating your own side. Why don't I play it on this middle row, because it has 2 units on it. You'll notice that since I played it on the middle row, it did no damage. That's because gold units cannot be damaged or targeted by any card or effect unless that card specifically states that it targets gold cards. So in general, gold cards are immune to pretty much every effect in the game. There are only a handful of cards that can affect them. In fact, currently in Gwent, there are only 2 cards in the entire game that will allow you to affect a gold card that's already on the board. The 2 cards that can do that currently are Dimitrium Shackles, this card that I have in my hand here, and Dimitrium Bomb, this silver card. So what happens when you play Shackles or the Bomb is you will target a gold card, or it can be a gold card, it doesn't have to be, but before any effect it has, it demotes the gold card into a silver card, and then it allows that card to be targeted by other effects as normal. So you notice if I play Dimitrium Shackles, I can actually target these gold cards. Let's target Zoltan up here. And when I play it, he's demoted into a silver card. That card also happens to lock. We'll go into more on locking later. But now that he's a silver card, he can be targeted by anything else that I want to, like damaging effects. The Lacerate will now work on him. If I use Lacerate again, he does take 3 damage as normal. Now, Dimitrium Bomb is a silver card that is able to demote units. And this one actually targets 3 adjacent units. So when I use Dimitrium Bomb, I can actually target both of his gold units here in this row and demote both of them at the same time. So when I use that, now they're both silver cards, and I can start damaging these and removing them with any other card I want to. But for the most part, you'll never be able to do anything to gold cards the opponent has on the board unless you happen to have a Dimitrium Shackles or a Dimitrium Bomb at your disposal. Now there are certain cards that choose their targets automatically based on the card text. Scorch can be a very tricky card for new players because its effect is that it simply destroys the highest strength unit or units on the entire board. The fact that it affects the entire board means this can kill units on your side of the board as well as your opponent's. So new players often have a game where they'll accidentally scorch some of their own units, and you should be careful not to do that. Currently, you'll see that the opponent actually has the highest unit on the board. His Nilfgaardian Knight here is 10 strength. Every other unit on the board has less strength than that. So if I place my Scorch card, it will get rid of his Redanian Knight, and I will go ahead in points. So let's try the Scorch and see what happens. The Redanian Knight is burned up. He goes to the graveyard. That's about all there is to say for targeting and positioning in this video. In the next video, I'll go more into detail about base strength, damaging effects, and boosting or buffing effects.